was making fresh frozen because of it.
No, my first grow, I actually cut into the chimney in my actually cut into the chimney in my house and put a vent fan going straight up there. So like you couldn't smell it on my block, but 2 blocks over, it was dropping down low enough that you'd get it. So like you get it close to my house, but never at my house, which was I always thought was choice on my first one.
That's when, yeah, I had a couple places like that in my town that I was walking with my friend as a teenager and being that smell, that smells skunky in that neighborhood, and that the other one was like, oh, there's like that kind of bubble gummy freeze in here. Oh, there's that. Yeah, there was like a different neighborhood, different strain from those venting like that. But some of the place in downtown, there was that like those laundromat place, and people living over it were growing weed and were having. I think they had a full box of Bounce in their vent because there was like a really strong smell of Bounce with dank weed. That strangely, I got a bag of the same fucking dank weed in my pocket. Like, dude, that smelled that with the Bounce on top of it, and my friend
Nice,
was like,
nice.
"I've bought it
Yeah,
there."
we'd always do that go when we get sent away to like oil camp, but then it would just look like everybody was doing the same thing. So you just smell weed and bounce sheet at the same time. Like it didn't really cover it, but it was you tried.
Yeah, the funniest shit was like the biggest guy were having carbon filter and whatever our closet room. A lot of people were doing closet room, but people that were just like having a couple, maybe a light or two for them and their friends, and they're not investing in it. Yeah, man. My favorite pastime was like in middle of the night you come back home and you're like, what strain it could be? Did I smoke that one downtown? You know, you smoke with people drinking beer and you're like, oh, I think I've smelled that one and that. Okay, it's cool. You ask him what's the name of that strain. Oh, one of those
Yeah.
that I'm smelling since it's legal that it's sold in the local shop here. It's that junkie. The other day I've walked on the street to a couple place and had to go shop and whatever. And 3 times there was someone in the parking lot smoking a joint. And I was like, dude, it smell like junkie. Get that kind of skunky with the I don't know. There's a twist to that skunky smell. Normally it have a tiny bit of citrusy taste, but I don't know. It has something kind of dank smell. I don't know how to describe it. There's a taste enough to taste to it that it's different than the stuff we have now. You know, it's one of those old strain. I don't remember what's the name, but it's crossed with the skunky strain and make that. You know, it have that smell that you pass around and you're like, oh man, I remember that weed. You know, once you smell it, once you like, oh, it smells something good. I don't know what it is, but once you know that it's called a fucking random name, and learn about why it's called a random name, that's the most funny thing. It's Boris Samaris at the that was Montreal Compassion Club that have received some clone from a guy at one point. And the guy was saying that was White Widow or White Widow Cross. That's what people have recalled from it. And Boris was smoking it with the other guy and at one point said, "Dude, you can call it junkie for all I care. That's not White Widow. So that's called Janky.
Nice, nice.
So uh, over here, don't ask why it's called like that, because it's always something stupid like that.
Now, do you think it was really just not White Widow, or was it just epigenetic expression showing differently in a different grow?
That's maybe no. Well, okay, I've tried it back then. Okay, because it's been around for a fucking long time, and I've tried it, and I can just say that it looked like there's skunk in it. The bud is more. Maybe there's an hybrid of Widow in it, because there's something like more of that modern look that I recall when White Widow came, that a lot of people have used it for hybrid. But I guess that's an hybrid of White Widow with a skunk something. That's all I can say. Or a skunky strain, because it got that kind of zippy high, more social than skunk is. To me, skunk is more of a I'm fucked up. I don't know, man. Like skunk is not the best effect to me. I don't like it.
Well, that's probably because you like hash. That's because you like hash, and
Yeah.
skunk is an ester, and so it's stuck with the weed, and that's it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it's like those skunky weed when you smoke the flower, it's pleasant. Yeah. But
yeah,
it's not always good. And a lot of those skunky strain that were more Afghani, like not the skunk strain, but like skunky smell, whatever. A lot were more with that rubber, grassy taste, and sometimes tar, a lot of tar in the
yeah, yeah.
smoke, and it wasn't like that good. But the skunk strain was better to smoke. Like the flower was more.
Was more enjoyable.
Good to smoke. It was more smokable as a flower, but uh, the effect to me is kind of a depressing effect. Not a depressant buzz in itself, but it's kind of a confusing, weird effect. And when people like about the roadkill skunk, it's that kind of fucking alert paranoia weirdness
Oh
psychedelic
yeah,
into
yeah.
it. Like
Well,
that's
and
fucked up effect. And I understand why some people like it, but that wasn't the best shit around back then.
no, it truly probably wasn't. But I think it's just the fact that like the entire market had to go the opposite way, because if you kept growing that, you were gonna get caught. You were gonna bring the heat through the door,
Yeah,
and
and
you
that
were
rubber
going down.
floral
Yeah.
of that skunk one, like more sweet one, it yelled a lot and still give you that effect too, but it's not the same
So
quality
people
effect.
started looking for the less loud strains, and that's the
Yeah.
direction that went. And because that's the direction it went, the other thing is the coveted thing, and that's what we're looking for. And that's why everybody wants the roadkill skunk, or the cat piss or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
when people talk about cat piss, I remember some stuff that had a kind of cat pissy smell to it, and sometimes was
I always
kind of
thought they just
sweet
had
when you grind
cats.
the bud, a tiny bit
I
sweet into it with the kind of ammonia that emerged from it. But there was some dense bud, more indica. There was more stuff, more sativa, let's say, that was a kind of a cat piss. And one of those that I recall really well, it's that skunk Ace. Sometimes it had that cat piss pheno in it. I was totally allergic to it. Like my eyes get wet, my nose is runny. Uh, I, I I I don't even see the fucking bottom in front of me. I cannot crush any fucking leaf of the bud because I'm like just allergic to it. But if I'm smoking a joint, I'm good as long as I don't handle that one. I was, dude, that's the only one. Uh, maybe there's maybe two strain that made it to me. Like that Hawaiian skunk back then. I remember that there was something I was having skin reaction sometime when I was touching.
Yep, yep.
I was like, what the fuck?
That happens to me with blueberry. Blueberry is that exact way with me. Blueberry has like these barbs on it that when I reach in and when it's flowering and I reach in underneath the canopy, breaks me out in an absolute rash. It's insane.
Yeah, like the Sicilite hair was going
Yeah,
like his
but
stinging nettle.
like yeah, no, but it's exactly like that. They have these other trichomes that are just sharp and they're just barbed, and yeah, no, certain
But I
people
think
they
there's
get, and
certain
I'm one of
terpene
them.
also that make it. It may be two things like the air and maybe terpene. I don't know. You're like, honey, I'm allergic to that strain. I think we have to change. Like there's 99 strain you can choose, but not that one. That's the funniest one. But you know the main problem now it's always like everything a bit look-alike based on the few different things. And it's a fun name crossed with fun name equal dessert
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
equal
It's a
a
bunch of fun.
burger with a dessert, and then you got the fucking disease. I don't know. You're sick at the end. Oh, no, I appreciate some of those varieties. They look really good and whatever, but I
I
don't
mean,
think they are better in general.
I like the fun name game. I thought it's always great when you have a great name to go with it. But like also when you've already pre-picked this great name, you're not really putting two plants together because you're not putting them together because they're the best plants. You're putting them together because they sound cool together.
Oh,
And so,
dude,
and you might still get
you're right.
lucky. That might be the most amazing thing, but you should be looking for things that look good together or will advance it, the strain.
Cause yeah, there's a thing that I was discussing with a non-smoker at one point. He was like, "Why you like that one? Why you would grow that instead of that?" And some question that I was finding quite pertinent for a non-smoker. And he was asking some really pertinent question like, "Okay, let's say that Californian orange from Dutch Passion. that
Yep.
that was kind of dense bud for a Californian orange. I know some people told me about something else, but Californian
Love me
orange from
some.
Dutch Passion to me was looking like those skunk leaf, really sharp and thin leaf, but the bud were round and dense and having that kind of orange smell, but more ammonia smell into it.
I had an amazing cut of Calio, but it was so the Cali orange was so susceptible to PM. It
Oh,
would just
I
like
was
it
about to
would
say spider mite.
so well,
Spider-Man
I
was
did.
like a fucking. The plant was still going through his phase, but as soon that you have a tiny bit of Spider-Mite in your fucking place, that plant was fucking a canary in the
Just
room
covered.
worse than the skunk. I mean, that was funny because we're like, oh, at least the bud are dense. We know that the Spider-Mite are not too much in it. And my girlfriend at the
Woof.
time was like, honey, it's really disgusting. There's a bunch of those fucking critter at the tip of the branch that you've put on the side. I'm like, oh.
What?
And
No.
I went to go take my small portative torch and torched all the tip of the branch on my on my string. So 2 3 times in a day when they were drying, I was torching the stem where the spider might were climbing to go drink. So yeah, I mean we have that in common. Me and Steve Panic for we have a common link for how we take care of the bug sometime. I mean, fire is a really good answer to your food.
It does. It is very effective.
I mean, okay, don't burn everything in your place, but I've used fire.
And
Okay,
certainly not your place
I'm a man.
down.
I've discovered fire. So yeah, but the Calio was that we had was like when you crush it, had that kind of ammonia smell. And my girlfriend at the time was asking me to never smoke it inside. But when I was smoking it outside in a fucking great day, I was the only one on the street with the small fucking Chinese eye with a big smile in my face and being, it's sunshine in my head. Do, 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 do. I don't know, man. That was really, yeah, that it was a different vibe to it, but I was getting used quicker to that one than other stuff at that time. And I remember another one, I think it's Kelfanet Indica that was called from Sunseas. That was that one had a different smell. I think it was a Northern Light cross, whatever. But I don't know. That one was better. I remember that one have been crossed at one point with ash plant G13 or just ash plant. I don't remember. And that was like the orangey ash plant, the orange smell on top of it, ashy plant. Oh man, that was so good. It was the best to me. But just orange, California orange. Mm, I don't know. Interesting, but not. It will not have been my main things to smoke around. You know, like I like to have a bit of it on Snow Eye, but like that Jangi I was talking about, that's another one that we will reserve for more social event or having more kind of a. You go for a hike and smoke a joint on top of the mountain, and you're still all good to go down. Well, that's a good one, but maybe it's gonna raise a bit your heart. One of my friends said that he was like, "Oh, it's not the strongest shit, but it get me a bit racy heart." And he said that a lot of things that were kind of skunky back then was giving him that kind of, yeah. So
I
if you're
had a
having heart problems, sometimes the really speedy high not always the best to smoke.
I grew a haze. It was a haze cheese cross, and it made a bunch of people like really paranoid. They wouldn't even smoke that stuff again. But like I loved it. I thought it was fabulous. But everybody else, it was wigging everybody else. Even my wife, it wigged her right out. She wouldn't smoke it.
There's some cross with some African stuff or whatever that sometimes it play in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
Like it gonna bite you at one point and it play with you. And you don't discover how much it play with you till you think back at how you react after you smoke that. And you're like, dude, that shit really changed
I'm
me.
fucking high.
That fucked me up. But it
No,
gives
like
you into a
really high. Like
deepness sometime that you've never went before. Or you don't want to go back there.
yeah, no, there's been a couple times like there's definitely been a couple times like that where you smoke so much, you smoke and then you're just like you forget you're high and then you start I like I'll start thinking I can solve all the world's problems and I'm like, wait, you're just high, dude. Like
Those one are not the worst. For me, the worst is when I'm staying online and I should have disconnect. Uh, yeah, I'm creating some mess. But dude, if you're smoking some, I don't know. Okay, I, I was reading on IC Mag and other of those forums. And some of the guys that were really on strong sativa and some good A's and stuff like that, sometimes had the kind of a vibe that like, is that guy is smoking weed, man? He cannot be cranky like that and smoking weed. That's yeah, he can. You don't smoke your Afghani. Okay. You don't want to go eat some popcorn and watch a movie and laugh a bit dumbly. Uh, you just want to grab a fucking walking stick and go solve the problem of the world and fucking create the best poem tonight. And I don't know, man. You're like, fuck, on a go, dude. You're on a mission. That I just have to make a warning. You have to indulge a bit more than small consumption to feel like that, and that's not really recommended for everyone. But that's part of life, man. You may have
Look, at
experience
some
it.
point you need to make yourself holy anointing oil with cannabis and rub yourself in it. Seems natural. Seems natural.
Yeah. Like that time when I had a couple gummies, and I was like, "Oh, they are pretty. Oh, there's some big one and some middle one and some small one." Um, I'm kind of mixed up. There's a big one that's like a heart, but you see that there's a big bear that it's like that much. Like, well, the heart is big enough. Okay, so I'll take one bear, one heart. Hey, those small one are cute. Oh, let's do take two of it. I was like, okay, I'll just roll what I've just ate and count tomorrow. I was like, oh man, I think I had at least 120, if not more, milligram. So it was good. But what I find the most funny is look at my Google history after.
Have you
I guess I was high. Yeah, like this morning, I was like, okay, I need to sleep better. And uh, last night, I've eat some stuff I had left, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I've wake up with a real good taste for ordering anything I could on Amazon, like what kind of food I could order. Um, After a couple of coffee, I was like, well, I think I will go at the grocery store later on. I think I was still high for me yesterday. Like starting to look at Nutella and what kind of snack you can order. Like, dude, if the only thing you want to order is some sugary stuff and maybe some coffee to go with, you're high. If you look at practical things on Amazon, it's not that bad. But when you wake up and looking for the snack part on Amazon to order it, you're still high, man, because you could just take a walk and go get some food. You don't need to order it. Yeah. No, I've found it quite funny to test myself a couple times, but I've been a long time without having any edible because I've scared myself, man. That we were making brownies with ash in it and did not know about the concept of how much milligram you need by person. It was unfamiliar for us. Um, so we had like it get you stoned, really stoned, or it doesn't work tonight. It was like the usual shit. So my favorite part have been when I've said to the girl I was with, I don't know you or me tonight how we gonna feel exactly. I can swear that one of us may be fucking high, and I'll know it at one point, cause we're gonna swipe our face. Like that's a fucking secret signal for that one. I don't know if it's everyone like that, but everyone that have fucking get stoned with that ash was the same shit. You swipe your face at one point and you feel like you're gonna faint. You're like, oh shit. It start, man. That's like if you had morphine at the hospital and you're like, whoa, okay, I got a big wave right now. But the best was that it was making you laugh and everything was fine till you have that really, holy shit, I'm getting it, get me now. It's like not I'm feeling stoned. No. I'm really fucked up. And you lose your leg like half an hour after or something, and maybe 15 minutes after you swipe your face, you feel like if you stand up, you're gonna lose your leg. And uh, when some were really hit by it, I was saying, I prefer that you don't go out, that you can pass out on my bed. I think you may sleep for 2, 3 hours and wake up and be just fine to go by yourself, but you're gonna be really confused and pass out soon. If you feel like that, I feel like that. Everyone was doing that. Was- that was some really strong shit. But we just were adding, if I remember, 7 or 10 gram in a 8-inch plate of brownies. Like the carnation brownies recipe. We're using that. And we're grinding really fine the ash and mixing it but we're not really decarb or whatever. We're just like grinding it really fine and adding it when we add the marshmallow.
Yeah.
And it's fucking hot in there, so I'm
It's hot in there,
fucking
so
dude.
yeah,
I
it
don't
would
know if it decarb,
decarboxylate.
but
But
it
it
do
would totally
something.
would.
Yeah.
It totally would. Yeah, it would totally decarb in that situation.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
and
just
it'd have quite a time. It would have quite a bit of time too as it cooled. So I would say, yeah, I would say a bunch of it was getting decarboxylated, if not all of it.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was working for infusion for us at least. It's just that I think the mixing part was really it wasn't equal. Like you were taking a part and being like I've described earlier, and the other one is like, dude, I don't think it's get me high.
yeah.
So yeah, but that was kind of funny. The worst was like the taste of chocolate and ash together have made me stop eating chocolate for a fucking long time. I wasn't eating brownies for a while, man. Like I've been so stoned that smell and that taste like that. I know my body was like, man,
No,
I was
thank
having
you.
some fucking PTSD at the end when my girlfriend was like, "It's your turn to take a brownies. You told me the other time I took it." I was like, because we were like daring each other, like tonight you take a brownies. It's like, oh no, oh no, oh, not tonight, not to me. Because you don't know if that night you're gonna be fucking fucked up or you're still good. But man, I've really loved it to do that. It's just that we're taking it when I had a lot of pain. So that was really more fun to take it than taking morphine or shit like that. But I had to have it off the day after. I mean, I wasn't totally sober, when I was waking up. But I was taking the day after to do nothing, watch TV, whatever. But I found it really more efficient than any muscular relaxant that I've ever took. I was less confused when I was waking up, and it was giving me a better sleep. When you're really fucked up on those pills, it doesn't give you a sleep that you feel good after. You wake up like a hangover. You're still confused. But with the brownies, I was waking up and then realizing that, hey, whoa, 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 I'm not totally sober. You take a coffee and you're like, nah, I've not taken anything. I feel weird a bit. Okay, I don't go out. But I was like, I was way better in my head
You're
when I
talking
was
about I
waking up.
wake up like that, and I'm like, I feel great. Oh, let's start the day. I'm
Yeah, I, but I found that other when people tell me about the oil, what that aerosol that they are taking, some people take a lot of it many days in a row. I don't remember with the treatment that people talk. I think it's like a month that you stack more and more and whatever. Don't remember exactly the treatment, but I remember following different people doing that, and everyone experienced the same fucking thing, or nearly everyone. It gets you. You feel sick at one point when you get too often of it, and mentally it can. I think it's not good over time. There is something too strong for too long. Your brain don't handle it. I would say the same thing for anything. It's just too much. You need to maybe take a couple days of it, have rest, and maybe take less of it before you go to sleep. Once in a while, when you feel that it's more needed, but not taking it every day in big quantity
Maybe
like
take it a
that, I
little
don't think it's
earlier in the
good.
night. Yeah, take it a little
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah.
But,
Just not that
but
because
then yeah,
it's
you
hard on
you
the
do.
stomach, it's hard on the liver at
Yeah,
one point.
and when you get yeah when you've been doing it for a few days too, you get built up and you just start kind of feel hungover on it. I don't know,
Yep.
better way to say it. Yeah, like you just yeah
I was feeling similar to morphine.
yeah
You know that kind of
yeah
zombie state, dreamy a
a
bit
little bit
that
yeah
you're
yeah little zombified. I don't know what you're saying.
yeah,
I know.
when I started to smoke that LA Confidential back then, I was like, that's funny. It's better than morphine, but if I smoke too much of it, that's pretty much like having some morphine and being like, yeah, just dreaming at shit because I'm still sitting there doing absolutely nothing else. So I was like, okay, good smoke, but maybe not abuse of that one. I was like, yeah, it's just a fucking opiate kind of effect sometimes. It's funny. You're just dreaming. I think those are good for yeah, just resting a couple day or a good relaxing afternoon. But for everyday use, holy crap, I would not recommend it. I would do nothing all day long.
So you're not looking for, so you're not looking for skunk. What strain do you reminisce about from back in the day? Is it this M39 or
Fuck,
what?
M39, that's another one. If you smoke too much of it, you gotta sit and do nothing. You're just lethargic, sleepy a bit, and end up if you smoke too much of that one, I remember that you were just feeling sleepy and lazy. You were no longer really high from it.
You mean like the chemo? That's like chemo. Chemo, you just melt into the couch.
Yeah, but chemo was really good when you smoke a joint or two. If you smoke a lot of it in the day, at one point it was like doing the total opposite. It was keeping me awake for some reason I don't understand. Because if I was just smoking a joint or two in the day of it, I was like fucking good, like sleepy but not sleeping and forgetting my word mid sentence and kind of confusing. But for muscular relaxant was perfect. Like nausea, it was perfect too. A lot of people I've known were smoking the chemo because they were really having cancer, and all the pills were getting them a bit nauseous. And a guy that I've met was having AIDS, and he was saying chemo was one of those that was making him having less shake from the pills he was having. Those pills were getting him really shaky for some reason. And he was taking that and was like, dude, it worked well. If I remember, that was, is it Wakeford? I think Jim Wakeford or something like that. One of the first medical patient in Canada that he was like he wasn't even in a wheelchair. I think he was in a kind of bed on wheels, man. And he was having some spasm so strong that he wasn't able to hold the joint himself or having a pipe. He would have broke his fucking teeth having a pipe. And so people were handing him a joint, and I think it was an hybrid of that chemo. And dude, a couple puff was making his spasm really, really less present, and he was able to talk more normally because otherwise he had trouble even to speak because of the spasm. So I'm not sure. Maybe it's not the best one for it, but it was one of those that was really well known for working for that. Uh, a good muscular relaxant for that. That was for sure. But I think chemo, if you overindulge in a day, it was like, I think how you can call it, the kind of ceiling for how much you can smoke was a bit low. M39 was lower. But some of those plants were kind of more on the lethargic side. You cannot smoke that much of it before it kind of stop doing its good effect. You know, yeah, you smoke a joint or two in a day, and you limit yourself of it. You know, change of strain, I guess. And I think it's true for a lot of things. Most of this, that's what I was talking with you earlier. Most of the strain are just good on Snow Eye.
Yep. Yep. And they're nice to revolve through and have something different and switch out and change. That's why I can
Yeah.
never get stuck with any one thing or
Well,
any.
I have my favorite on Snow Eye, but I think they are like 1 in 100, and it's one plant in that line that is better than the rest. So I think I believe in unicorn in that kind of plant.
There's unicorns in every plant.
Yeah, yeah, I think you can have that special one. I mean, yeah, that's why you got that plant that's called the one. That's the one.
That's the one.
You want that one. That, well, I don't know if it will be my favorite, but I think if you look at a bunch of plants and you're like, that's the one I want, and you try it again and again, and it kind of confirms its choice with time. Mostly when it's like 40 years after, you're like, dude, think
I
it
don't know.
worked.
So somewhere around 20 something, you're pretty committed. I think you're just
Okay, so you admit that was a good idea to keep it that first 20 years. It was like, yeah, it's the one, I guess it's good. But after 20 years, you kind of,
you gotta be
is
you're
that
just
become
like
an
fuck it
obsession?
up. It's no, it's just this is branded. Yeah, no.
That become a disease?
Yeah, you have
It,
no
it,
choice. It's
it,
just for
it,
pride. And then well, yeah.
well, I used to say that's 5 years. If you got a really nice clone of something, in 5 years we don't even heard of it around. Nobody have a
Yeah.
bud to offer you of it. And when you still heard of that, it's some guy that have seen a value in that plant, have made seeds with it, an hybrid, and work that, and change the name or whatever. And then you smoke something, and I like that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, yeah, it's a cross of your two favorite of 20 years ago that we've worked on, and that's it. So I'm like, think it worth to keep when you think it's special, if you can, get some seeds of it. Keep a clone around, whatever. But once you've got like seeds of it pure, a couple hybrid, you test them and they are work. You got a couple of them that work better than other. Yeah, I can move on. Once I know that its future, the future is secure of that plant because it was a special one, I would move on. I've had too much story about special clone that been hauled around and all the drama around. And today I've watched a couple Instagram and people were still talking about those drama. Different story, different guy. But can you believe it's about belief? Whatever. It's like, oh no, okay, that one. Uh, just personal note on that story. If you name something Gorilla Butternut, I won't butter my fucking toast with it. Again, I'm sorry, guys, but no, no, no. Okay, it doesn't go. It's a bit disgusting. So I'm sorry, that's not my favorite
Whatever.
name. Okay, but can I enter a name? We've talked about some seeds you've got. That C31 Crockett. If I remember, it's the one I was suggesting a name. It would be the Potato Peeler Kush.
That sounds terrible.
That's not terrible for you.
That does not make me want to grow it.
Oh shit. Shit, I was like, man, he
The
made him
potato
picture
peel.
himself on a fucking ship
The
peeling
potato
potato
peel
after
turks.
smoking it
And
and being like, The guys
Potato
don't
peel
know
chips is
how
like
fun I got,
that's
man.
like hay
I'm fucking
terms, a
high.
little
I'm
too
peeling
close to hay.
potato. It doesn't work. Okay. Oh fuck. Dude, I need to find a better name, but I don't peel a kush, man. That's a fucking that's that that actual name is it.
I think
There's
maybe
reference.
couch potato kush, maybe, but like, yeah, we got to work on your naming game.
Oh man. Okay, but at least I don't offer you some gorilla butternuts. I mean, okay. I don't know. I was trying to go better, but for me,
And
my,
what you don't want any coke? You don't want any cokehead slut or a green
well,
crack or
there's one name that I was watching
green crack was
a
really good
YouTube.
weed though.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when you know the story about it, but and yeah, it's not that bad of a strain. Maybe not my favorite.
Not my
It's not
favorite,
that
but
bad.
it was pretty. It was solid weed. It just was good weed.
Yeah.
That one I had for
Uh,
a while.
I've smoked some strawberry, something of Tino, like some ash of it. That got some green crack in it, and it's funny because I was like smelling it and be, what's that? Mm, there's something behind, and like my nose tell me there's something else, and I've kind of, oh yeah, what's that? You know when you know that some breeder have worked with like strain or whatever, and they say it reminiscent of some trait of this and that, and I've remembered that. I don't know why. I've never had it around. Green crack wasn't something that we had around. And when I smoked it and I smelled it, I was like, oh, I get what they were talking about. Like I've recognized exactly the same kind of strain, but it's crossed with something else, whatever, that I did not know. And there's that strawberry smell on top of it. But I can smell that green crack behind with the kind of strawberry on it. I don't know. I've enjoyed it. But no, I think that there's things with the name that sometimes it just doesn't make sense. I mean, what was that shit you said earlier? Okay, man. I have to
Oh,
say that when I've named stuff, you got letters and numbers most of the time. That's pretty much all you got. So I know it's kind of boring. I know it's kind of confusing for some people, mostly when you got why you got C3 and C31. Is it the number three and that other one 31? It's like the 31 So, but they are not from the same generation. And they're like, how you? Well, I'm like, I should have put the dot 3.1, and you could have maybe understood something else. But at the same time, some builder may use some coding for their stuff. I remember DJ Short was saying he had like let's see, I think the Kush, the Floral, and I don't remember what else, but he was like having some
blueberry and
major
floral.
trait
Yeah.
that was grouping it and was finding back some of those traits even in the other group, and sometimes was recombining with one of that other group with you know and mixing it like that. So I think it can be really confusing for some people, but overall, when you ask the guy how he do his selection and why you name it like that or whatever, some people don't give a fuck. But some other may understood that you may start with a cross of two things that are so diverse that when you go in the filial generation, you can pick stuff that look like totally different things. And one thing I was telling you earlier that was like, oh, that 31 was like that citrus pine sol. Well, that 33 was kind of tiny bit more berry and nearly kind of Fruit Loop cereal, at least when I was curing it. So I was like, hmm, they're sister, but they really don't look alike, and they are like totally different shit. One is like a short, sturdy indica that to me would have looked a bit more like Shiva Skunk, let's say back then, with something a different twist to it, but dense dense bud and short plant, kind of early and whatever. And the other one was like looked like a tropical with more frost and citrus pine sol smell to it. So you're like, what the fuck, man? It doesn't look like they are sister, but you need to go in the ancestry and look at why they express that, and you're gonna find back exactly some trait of those expression that may jump from one type to the other. Like the citrus can be on the one that look really like an indica, but it just happen that you won't have the same effect if it's like that. So if you want that short flowering and citrus taste and chunky flower, dude, go get some lemon skunk. Okay, don't try to make it from the Chernobyl because you may have the deception those pheno may be the crappy one in it. It's not the best off of that. The combination doesn't always click. It's gonna be there, but it doesn't mean it's a good one. And that's what I found with the people that found all the funny name. Dude, all you have to know is that the guy think that one answer to the trait he was searching for. Yeah. So it got a funny name. Otherwise, it will be in the notebook of discarded plant. I hope so, at least. I know some company now will order stuff to be selected to be kind of a good best overall. I could get the THC that they want, the terp level that they want, and it need to be commercially available. I know Chimera Ryan Lee is having that kind of command from the company to get, but they can get some lab tool to identify better those plants without growing them to full maturity now, which is really cool. But what's the most funny is that we're talking about that technology 22 years ago, and now it's true, and they are operating with that technology to select on the legal market some of the place like do that. But some of the problem that we have right now is that the people that are choosing the strain, at least over here in my place, those who chose what will be on the shelf are not knowledgeable in anything about it. We could go a bit more deep about that if you want, but there's a big problem that we have on the board. And that's not to have the cool guy that eats some Doritos and smokes some weed to tell you what you should get and watch all the podcasts. I mean, if the guy have that kind of job, I guess it's not a bad job, but I wish it's not exactly what we're gonna get. Uh, the problem that we have mainly is that when you have a description like an indica and a sativa to describe you what kind of stuff you have, and you look at the pedigree of those strain and there's no tropical strain in it, or if there's so, eh, how you can find them through all those shit that are described as sativa when in fact they are not. And if you talk about sativa, to me it's a tropical plant. Like it's easier for me to say it's a tropical plant because if you talk about uh, North Indian, well, when I was younger, they were calling it ash plant sativa. That's how people were describing it. Like people that don't even knew what will be the real botanical name, they were like, those plants are different than the plant in the tropic, but they still have those spindly leaf, but have something different, bud structure, resin effect, whatever, and they are more from the north. They have, they have something different. We have stuff from Pakistan that look like a different pocket of whatever, it's all different a bit everywhere in the valley. But eh, they have some that look more chunky and some more how to say, more straight up branching and thinner bud, but they are different. You know, there's something. They have different characteristic on some of their strain. And it's not just a mix of Indian and Pakistani, and Afghani. I mean, there's a lot of different stuff there that I think it's reminiscent of older variety that may have been around and been mixed with other stuff, and now those traits are still present in it. Um, but I was just thinking, like, if you would try to get on the market some variety that are really different from each other, first thing, and have less promotion on a freaking fake name that mean nothing for the people because they
True.
want to reinvent all the appellation, all of the kind of things that because they don't want to promote that old concept of the prohibition time. But some of the things they don't understand is the consumer that go on that website. I've did many times. If I spend an hour searching for stuff and trying to see what's that, I was searching, I remember, for some good hashish. And I had to look what kind of extraction it is. Is it monosource or not? Is it a boosted with CBD crab? Is it and then at one point, okay, at the end, who cared what I was searching? Because some I was like, okay, it's clear, it's this dry sift or whatever ash or something like that. But they were having some extract of I don't remember like alcohol extraction or whatever. They were mixing it with dry sift and then mixing it with the texture looked like a ball of ash. Okay, but it's less than 30% of THC, all their ash. And when you look at the flower, some of them were the same things. Let's say you have whatever the orange plant. Well, you have the orange ash, let's say. The flower is 23 to 27% THC, let's say. Yeah. Oh, okay. It seemed like a good average strong plant. And then you look at the ash, 23 to 27. Like, wait a minute. Are we talking by gram? Yeah, by gram. Eh? Flour and ash? Wait a minute. What's the price by gram of the flour? 8. What's the price of the ash? 12. By gram? Yeah. Same percentage of THC. Is there something I've not understood?
Well, it would appear so.
Yeah, I was starting to be a bit confused. So, I went and asked my friend he had something to smoke to see if my men's state will change. And I've looked back at the website and decided that the best thing will be to buy some okay, not too expensive flour that I don't really know what it is, but seem to be not too bad, I guess. I hope so. And I've put some money with my friend and go get those flour because they were present at that shop. And when we went there, I'll, we came back home and I look at the flour. There was not no frost at the outside.
Yeah.
It have been tumbled so much, and it was, when you have the Crayola scissor with the round tip, because you kind of
Yes.
round
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
You kind of not able to follow the curve of what you're
Do I know
cutting.
that? I
Yeah,
have
you're
four
just
kids
a
under the age of 7.
yeah. Okay, okay. So when you're having weed that been trimmed by an adult or a machine, which should be like the same thing. I mean, do you card a machine before you trim it? I mean, that machine is not 18 years old yet. How you? Okay, maybe I'm silly, but uh, if it's you tumble the weed to choose how many big and middle and small bud you got in that 8 or that's 1/4 ounce, and you got some pre-roll in the same machine that come at the other end, I would ask it to get the pre-roll freshly done. I guess it will be better than having those flowers that been tumbled. But because when you get dense bud like that, to me, most of the beautiful part is pretty much there at the outside. When you got less dense bud, it's a bit everywhere. But if you tumble them like that, they will not survive anything and will all end up in pre-roll and a stem at the outside. That will be pretty much it. So I was like, okay, that may be the reason why. But that's sad because they don't grow those strains. A lot of strains just don't have the dense bud, or who care. And so I've took those buds, let them really dry in my freezer, crushed them in a fucking plastic pot, and doing the quick ash method like we all fucking do, old school guys. Plastic pot, shake it in the, let it in the freezer, shake it, and tap it out, and look at the frost that stick on it. Well, it was decent, but I've smoked it all like that because that flower was kind of stuff that I would have forget in my bag that go around with, just kind of no no particular smell unless you crush it, and no apparent frost on the outside. But when you open it, there's a bit of it, but there's apparent um, hair that was white and of kind of reddish instead of being really mature and change of color a bit before they dry. So I've seen that that weed was really dense, but cut a tiny bit early and tumbled too much. That was like that wasn't the expensive weed, but some of the expensive was still cut early. The last time I tried it, so I would have hoped that with time it changed, but I don't like to spend too much money on this. It doesn't worth that much. I mean, you're gonna get really beautiful and tasty beer, man, of so many shit, good alcohol. Man, why the hell we got to go that low with selling weed in a shop that we don't even know what we're buying before? That's just a bit sad for that. But the one of the problem I've seen here is okay, what they say on there was an article about okay, they say that the SQDC cannot show that they selection the best produce for the consumer because she doesn't offer to the how you call that the producer that the same opportunity to submit ca- because the SQDC selection from one of those criteria that we don't really know, and so in many cases it doesn't have any document point of what they really look for selecting this or that to be on the shelf. And they do not assure to get themselves to be competitive on the price for two of the three format possible of dry flour. So there a lot of people buy an 8 or 1/4 ounce, let's say, of flour. And if you buy an half an ounce or an ounce of flour, I mean, you could have a discount price of something on some produce and have most of those produce offer in that format. I mean, we can legally transport an ounce. And traditionally, an ounce was what the more regular consumer may buy. If you like more to buy one strain, you may buy an ounce of this. And when you come back at the shop, maybe 2 weeks later, you want to get a 1/4 ounce of something else to just have something else to smoke, And
And another
most of
ounce.
the regular consumer are like that. Or to buy an eighth of this, an eighth of that, and a 1/4 ounce of that. That's what people told me that they buy most of the time. They don't want necessarily, uh, I don't know, but the, those shops try their own model. They don't want people to have discount price for consuming more. But why, when I'm having to buy, okay, just sour cream. Okay, I went to get some sour cream. It was $2.68, let's say, for a 250 mil. If I want a 500 mil, it's $3.29. You see the not for something. No, 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 no. It's a lot. I was like, dude, at that price, can you offer me a liter of sour cream? Dude, I want my liter of sour cream because I feel like we're going on a deal. So I'm a happy consumer and I want to go 10 ski all the way after that, dude. So I don't know. I guess there's some way to get the consumer on a happy mode. I don't know. There's like I don't know. Give me a free lighter. I don't know. Like why do people on the net now have
A
all
free
those
lighter goes
fancy
pretty far,
pack?
and then it's visible all the time, so you get that branding right in your face if you put your name on a lighter. I mean, a free lighter's pretty sweet. I'm not gonna
Okay,
lie.
maybe they don't like the blending stuff in my shops, man. Yeah, we're in the different market. We're not in California here. If we promote a brand, we can be slapped, dude. So I would say I do not promote a brand. I just enjoy some stuff. Okay, so if you guys think it's promotion, I've not been paid. I wish I have not. No, hey, dude. If I'm liking to I don't know. Orange. I like an
Evil,
orange in the
Evil
winter.
Deadly will totally sell out. If you bring him a product, he will rave about it.
Look, if you give me a free product, dude, I would try to be worse than Chris. uh, I like Chris, but I think Chris is better than me for promoting anything if you give him for free.
Oh my
Uh,
God, that guy's a
yeah,
master of self promotion. Yeah.
we have a different way. I have like I may enjoy that thing, or I may find some good thing in it and not have personal connection to it. Or I may just sometimes enjoy that the fact, let's say, I like Jim's proof. Did I
Yep.
try anything of it? No. I follow him. And I know about him. I don't care that much about his work because I like him. I don't care. And some people say, "Oh, I had bad experience, this and that." I don't know, dude. That's sad, but you don't know me. Maybe you will hate me too. I don't know, dude. I wish you don't, but you know, we cannot get along with everyone and with everything. I don't go in every kind of fast food restaurant. I enjoy a few different things. The rest, I don't care. But if I'm in a new town, and there's that other thing I've never tried, I will go there. I'm not fucking locked in my habit. So I think you still have to get your mind open to new things. But if it got a funny name, it's most probably something with a different selection or a cross with something else. If you smoke it for the last 20 years, I mean, come on. Maybe it's just from a part of the world you've never tried something from there and it came here. But other than that, I mean, most of those things we've enjoyed in the past 30 years. We talk with someone at the other end of the planet. It's like, yeah, yeah, smoke it too. It's like, what? Cool. I mean, the other day I was talking with a guy and was saying uh, about the freak show. Oh, he grew well in Thailand. I'm like, yeah, 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 yeah. I've seen a couple of buddies there, but that's
Yeah.
quite funny, because the freak show is not from those places, but they were saying,
No,
yeah,
no.
you grow it in your backyard and it look like just an exotic plant of whatever. So if you enjoy
I
it,
think
then you
I
grow
think
well.
Freak Show would do well when I went back to Antigua. That'd be an interesting one.
Yeah, and cross with the Thai, like I mean, cross with the OG Kush and the Thai, like Canada did. Think it make because it already got the OG Kush in it. That's what some people don't know. I was digging on the pedigree. It got the A's, it got
Yeah.
OG Kush, it got some skunk, it got some Pineapple Express, it got some big bud in it. Think I've went pretty much into what is in there. So, oh, Big Sur Weed also. So
Wow.
you got Big Sur Weed. You've got some Pineapple Express bubble gum. So do it look like there's freak show in those shit? No, no, man. At least not what I've seen. But if you find anything weird and worthwhile to play with, cool. But what I would find even more funny is like getting some of those ancestors back into the freak show to bring back some of the trait you want by this by okay. One of the things some people may not know about is why the freak show is line bred. And some like Kanatai say, dude, F10 or F12, if I remember, say, dude, that thing it doesn't grow that quick, doesn't get big. Like, yeah, that's too tightly in bed. There's different strategy to avoid it, but that's kind of a normal effect that will happen at one point. You can intercross with different subfamily of it to have back a bit of vigor, but it can happen at one point that the it just doesn't get as vigorous than anything. It doesn't have the same power in it. But when you cross that with anything else, it
Yep.
may be another hybrid of freak show, but unrelated directly, like a half sibling if
Hybrid
you
bit
want.
bigger again. Yeah.
You're gonna get back to that vigor,
Yeah.
and you're gonna get a lot more predictability from it that you would have done if you don't wait till it's selected as much like that. So I think it's just something to learn to play with, making a stable line and many of them to be sure that you can reinforce that trait into anything that you cross with and just gain back, let's say, bigger bud or some whatever. I don't know what people want from, but I think that it's quite of an easy plant to work with. Beside the, because if want someone want to make something out of flour, uh, yeah, okay, maybe now it will be a bit more easy to go on the quality route to get something out of it. But from what I've talked with you guys, Friction is more fun to play with than Autoflower because Autoflower in general you need to treat it as a population breeding instead of a plant-oriented breeding. I don't know if I'm clear when I'm saying that, but it's Autoflower would be more you select a group of individual and go more on the long route with it. Like some guy I follow that wanted really something different and well made breeding that they did. They had to do F6, F8 to really had the quality they wanted with the trait they wanted. Because the first few generation they had were mostly to get the autoflower and some morphology they wanted with the quality. But every time they wanted some morphology, they had to be sure that the right one have that morphology with the quality. Otherwise, you're just shooting in dark, man. Why you're having that trait if you don't have the quality plant that hold that trait? And that's when I was describing why the commercial breeding is quite boring, because there's none.
Yep.
There's none. There's selection. There's no breeding. They get a group of seeds, select from it what they want with the best tool they can now, and have maybe a good knowledgeable guy that may do a really good work of it. I'm not just done playing anyone in it. I think there are a lot of those guys have a lot of knowledge, and I just have a different experience, and that's it. But I don't have their knowledge. Uh, I think some of those guys don't know what I'm talking about, that connection with the plant. Why that one you find it special and end up when you're testing it, it's really that one? Okay, that's why I'm believing in unicorn, that may be esoteric, but that's true. There's something weird about it, I know, and I've never understood why, but I've got the same feeling with my bees.
Huh.
So I cannot explain it. I guess there's something my brain understand before I can evaluate anything about it.
No, I know what you're saying. Like, I'll do that when like open a bag of weed and I smell it and it's the right one for me. I'll like
Hmm.
know immediately. I'll just be like, oh my goodness, I have to have that. I don't. That's the one. Doesn't even matter. I don't even care what else you have. That's the
Your
one.
brain know.
Yeah, you kick right in. You're like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm here for. Like that one. Like,
Man, the
yeah.
first time I've smoked a Hawaiian skunk back then, I was like, oh, texture of the bud's a bit different than the one I'm used to. A good one. And it was looking like that dense candy, I don't know. It was like tropical candy smell and skunk at the same time. I was like, what the fuck is that, man? Was and I've always remembered that one. Oh, oh, was it that special? No, that was good. But when you said about all the skanky shit, that one of those that have just disappeared. But that was from Nirvana. Dude, Nirvana had the fucking bland shit normally, no? I mean, the people, oh, it's knockoff or whatever. Dude, there was some good ones on Snore. I got a few of my friends recently that had stuff from them, and they were like, I cannot tell you that I will buy again the same thing and get back what looked like. I guess so. Maybe not. But I've got some good one on those. I'm lucky, I guess. I'm like, I don't know, man. I've seen some people buying some bulk resell from can crab king seeds or Barney something, and other more maybe Canuck seeds I've seen also. And a lot of them kind of look like it's supposed to, not always. But
I know what you're saying, yeah, and some of them
they
look
have some
nothing
decent plant in
like
it
it.
sometimes, strangely.
Yeah, they do have some, and but some, yeah, but then sometimes some of their stuff will look nothing like anything that's supposed to be there or anything it came from, and you're like, what the hell? And they'll have the
Yeah.
weirdest mutants of those guys.
Well, I remember Miss Jill talking about Ken Crop King, saying that they were having a jelly bean that wasn't even remotely looking like that. She was like, dude, that like look at the picture, like that looked like whatever else than that. I mean, name it like fucking Smurf or whatever, man. That's just like doesn't look like that. And why you take a random picture and making a name that's supposed to be cool? She was like, well, they could have just bought me the seeds instead. I would have sold them, I guess. But no, man, what I found the most funny with it is that uh, I tried to talk some with the European people on Snow Eye. A lot of them don't get it. Like, you remember Christoph that was saying, "Oh, I got some strawberry diesel super skunk," and you're like, "So you have strawberry diesel from Dark Horse, or is it like a random place, or are you sure it's really that, or?" And you're like, I don't know. So at one point I asked him like, okay, show me a kind of website you go on. Dude, those websites, I don't know how you can trust it. Um, I mean, he had some seeds and he was growing some weed that kind of looked like some American strain stuff. Okay, but where it passed it by? Why it got like Widow 47 or Gelato Dolato? It's like, okay, fossil acido. It's like, what the fuck, man? There's something strange. Is there like a AI that make your website and you just buy some bulk strain and you're like, okay, that one we put it on the dosido category. Okay, it looked kind of dosido. Um, I'm not sure. I know that some other podcasts I went over those kind of subject, but I have to go back on it being like, dude, when you go in a dispensary and you have to name a produce from an existing strain that you may know a bit more on the internet when you search for, but no, that's name of a produce now you got on the shelf. And you're like, why it get a different name than the ash that it's made from the same freaking plant? Why it
Yeah.
has to be confusing for the consumer that's supposed to be buying a produce to get confused? Hey, you're making the job to have the guy confused before you even consume the produce, so you don't have to sell him the produce? What the hell?
Because with the legal market, I think they if you have like okay, so if they grow it as sour diesel, right? Like let's say they grow some sour diesel and they fill the queue with sour diesel, the government takes it from the suppliers in the order it gets it. And so what will happen is if you get some like really midi stuff that like nobody wants to take, it'll block up the thing. And maybe the queue is so all the blueberries, government's queue for blueberries full. If you have blueberry, now you name it bumbleberry, now it can go in a new queue. So like that's one reason the name game is played so hard
Okay.
in
I
the
understand what you tell me. I understand a bit the concept. I've never had to play with that kind of thing myself. And
but
I've heard
that's
some
just
people
why they have.
talking more about that legal market, how different you have to register in the SKU of the produce.
Yeah.
Okay, it's hard to navigate in it. I can understand why they tried their best, I guess. Because I don't want to have bad faith on those people. They want to live their life and they have to do the best of their job so that their company is still alive, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
some don't understand that part of the job, that if you don't do the best of your job, the company won't go good. Anyway, for me, if you're the best in your company should have a better performance, and you may have a better paid or better condition. So I don't know. To me, it's go together. Maybe in smaller place. But I've found that all the bureaucracy with that, like I was seeing, when they chose to get something on the shelf, those people have some goal that we won't have publicly, which is a shame. We should have like, okay, here's our goal. Here's why we chose this or that. Come on, you know. You're from the government. You should put it public. I mean, that's not like a state secret. I mean, there's nobody that will invade the government because you say what kind of cannabis you put on the shelf. So I don't. I just think there's more effort to put on it, and there's a big effort also to put some things that are different on the market from each other. I mean, that's cool, guys. If you want like cookies or chum dog, but can we get some Malawi or I don't know, some skunk A's from back then? Why not having some freaking Friesland grown outdoor and having in a bulk strain shelf? Like you can buy an ounce of outdoor Friesland like back then. Because I find it strange that they want people to go all on the legal market, but they want like them to forget about 100 years. You have to kind of keep it around, at least take some stuff from it so that we can attach it to the legal market now. And, you know, that's what I've enjoyed about some of those few known clone from the competition club that been passed around. And I was like, dude, those things are known stuff. And like the runny. was a strain that was commercially available in Montreal for a while, not only on the Compassion Club or whatever, and they had it in Vancouver also, and it was one of those good weed that was around, whatever, you know. So if they have it on the shelf, at least it just show you that 25 years ago people were still smoking stuff that are as good or at least close to as good than what you can get now from pretty much any other strain. And some strain are better. I'm not saying the opposite, but yeah.
And well, we all know the one is the one. So I mean, there's that.
I know you need to get the one.
The one, the
And
one, the one is that.
yeah, if you get the second one, that's that. I don't know. That's like the second cup. Yeah. I don't know.
The
It's not the
question
same
is,
one.
will my seeds ever arrive, Evil Deadly? Will my seeds ever arrive?
I think that
The
that
curse of
pigeon
the I
is
have the
the
curse of the
most fucking
Pacalola.
lazy pigeon I've ever seen. I think that pigeon is eating some popcorn and watching TV, smoking
Well,
all that weed.
I still hope he is enjoying. I hope he's eating popcorn and I just hope he can get to the mail with my package. That's all.
Dude, I should have asked a fucking picture of that pack, man. It's like, oh yeah,
Uh,
it's on the door, or on the. You say it just like wait to go. That's the funniest one. But you know what I found the best with that whole story? It's that if the strain have been kept around so long, that's because some people have to wait for years before they get it.
exactly, exactly.
It's like the guy that have it, he smoke it, and he turn into a freaking golem. It's it's mine, mine, my precious. And that's what have happened with some of them, man. It kind of it ate them by the inside. It fucked them up, man. I think that we can find some. Oh, yeah. Let me say something that's really funny. You know when some of those seeds get shared, people will have to make a name because it's this cross with that. It's from that time. There's a story attached to it and stuff like that. So it's just really note for most of the consumer. Coot had one line that now some lack of knowledge people describe as Coot special. I have to say for everyone to know that there's no such things that could have ever called it Coot Special, and he really find it stupid as a name. Because the one is a joke. That's why it's called like that. That's to make fun of the Afghan one and Skunk one. It's the number one. Oh yeah? Yeah, no, no, that one is not a name with the one. No, no, it's the one. So it's better than the Skunk one. Some people don't get that fucking shit. Anyway, that's old school humor. But yeah, you better. I'm better than you. So that's what I like about him. It's like, hey, you think you're the best? No, no, I'm the one. Yeah, there's no second one. So yeah, fucking shit. I've lost what I was about to say with it, but I found it funny with that. Oh yeah, the Coot Special stuff. Okay, so for those that really know a bit more, Coot, I've never called it like that, and you don't. I don't know why you would call it Coot Special. Like, is there anything that was more special in this strain? Because do you know all the things he have? Nobody know, dude. If you go into his freezer and start to look, I'm pretty sure 89% you don't know about it.
Yeah.
There's, no. 10, 11% of it. Oh yeah, I've heard of that shit. Okay, so few of those have been released. And there's different reason why, but that Coot special is Highland Thai Kerala cross with Thai second Sri Lanka, if I remember. The same male that been used to cross with the one also. Um, that Pekalalo that had that strain, if I remember, well, the male side. Um, so the Island Thai with the Kerala. Okay, Kerala, he went himself get it. No one have that Kerala but him. He crossed it with the Island Thai he had. Cool. And then cross it, his friend crossed it with something else. Cool. That had some Thai in it. Yeah, but it's never been called like that. It got some letters. So if you know about it, you'll know which letters it got. It's just the letters. So whatever. You know, it's always like if you know it's a real thing, it may be just called a breeder note because they decided that if you really know it's legit from who you had it, you will call it like that. So
Yeah.
when everyone talk about the blue orca, it's attached to a story. And when you see blue orca and the one, well, Kut, I think you've described the story as it's kind of the sister of it. So I'm like, okay, so if you have the sister, you don't have the one. So well, it's similar, but it's not the one. Is it the sister or the whatever? But it's attached to a karma that you have to forget now because it's a guy that have it that have crossed it with whatever else, and now it's fucking a fish in the ocean. And we don't care. It's a orca. It's a small fish in the ocean because you've diluted with 20 other strain that we don't know what it's supposed to be at the first place. I found it quite interesting what people do with time with some of those stuff. Sometimes they combine it with smart stuff, but they create something that's really different. Some other time you're like, that guy just don't know what he's doing, and he's having that strain. Cross it together, see what happens. Maybe it could be good, maybe not. But what I found stupid is how some of those guys don't really know what they're doing and trying to hype a lot the fact that they had that shit or that shit from that guy. I'll tell a secret to everyone, it doesn't worth shit. Take every strain, dig a lot in it, you may find something special. If you don't, put more seeds, okay? Or find another strain. But there's nothing like searching yourself for the best one and testing it over time doesn't mean shit because it have that name or it's from that guy. It's been selected for what first? What you're looking for. Is it the same thing? Yes, good. Buy it, try it. But there's too many people that just don't know what they are looking for, and they may have some preconception of what they want to get and have a big deception if they have a 10 leaf of 16 weeks flowering time that get 6 foot tall when you flower it at 1 foot. You're like, holy shit, it's 6 times bigger. Yeah, but it's different at least, right? You never smoke that at your legal shop. Cool, it's different. Some people would complain that it's lanky, long, flowering, and this and that. No, no. Smoke it. It's different. Enjoyable. Cool. We're a friend. Let's smoke that shit. Yeah, I think we focus on the wrong aspect. Just start by crush and smoke. People just, I know it doesn't have that dense bud. It doesn't smell like a cake.
Well,
Have
man,
you seen that?
none of them smell like cake.
No, there's that wedding cake, man. It
Mhm.
smells like vanilla kush, kind of. I don't know. It's real. I don't know. The shit I've smelled was really smelling like kind of icing on a cake with some cushy smell. I don't know. I'm not sure, man. There's a couple things that I had some confusion with my nose, what I was really smelling. Uh, Dude, there's one of those burger. I think was it Donny Burger or something like that?
Donny Burger. Donny Burger is good.
I think
Sure.
it's that one. I was smelling it, being like, I I get
Yeah.
it why they say it's kind of meaty. There's kind of a smell of burger. I don't know. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's just a funny name. But I think we need to get. Yeah, I think we need to get our mind out of the name and understand a bit
Well,
more how to
it's like
describe better a strain.
yeah, it's the other THC number. Once we start get people to stop shopping by THC number, right? Like
But detach the cannabis here by THC number and apply a limit. So if at least okay, there's some good
so
and
at least you
bad
might
from
get
it.
honest. You might get truthful tests in your province.
Oh man. Okay, I can agree that you don't really need flour more than 30% in general. Okay, but when you make some hash with it, it's not supposed to be 30% when the flour is 30%. There's something
Well,
cheap in it.
I'm looking at the bud that they're sending out, and I'm like, that ain't 30%. Like maybe like some top cola that like you selected and like took and like that. No, this is the one. Like you took the perfect piece. Like maybe so, but like
Before
on the
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 weight and
majority
tumble.
of the rest of it, it's probably only 15, 16%. You know, like.
A lot of what I've seen, I'll be honest, when I was buying weed to anyone I don't know, I just want some weed in a new town, whatever, and having some cheap commercial bud, let's say that. Uh, I was having similar stuff to what they sell, and I was paying half the price. So for having maybe it's not my strain, I don't like that buzz or whatever like that, but it still get me a high. That's a bit like ordering a Budweiser at the local bar, cause dude, you know they're gonna get some Budweiser, right? And it got 5% alcohol in it, and you won't puke if you drink a beer of it, right? There's some stuff that I tried to drink a beer and I was like, ooh, I don't know what's called and I don't remember the name, but I hope to never choose it again. I don't know, it doesn't happen that much, but Budweiser, when I drink it, it's like, who have put water in my drink? Dude, I want a beer. I don't want a draft. And they're like, no, no, no. That's a bottle of Budweiser that I've poured in your glass. I'm like, hmm, no, no, that tastes like light draft beer to me, and that's a Budweiser normal. So when someone have offered me a Bud Light, I was like, are you watching for your carb or something? There's a tiny like half a percent of alcohol less in it, something like that, or it's 4% if I remember. I was like, I don't get it why you want a percent less in your beer. It's at that point it's like 3% beer. I don't know if you tried that, but I tried to get drunk with 3% beer, and my belly was hurting before I get drunk. So I was just finding it funny. It was like I think I kind of get a bit. No, it doesn't get more. So it's like drinking a shitload of draft from Bud Light. If you look at the percentage of alcohol of a draft, that's close to 3-4% in general. Like 3.5, 4%. Like most of the beer in draft, it's pretty much like drinking Bud Light or Coors Light as a straight of alcohol. So you won't get stronger than that, really. And I found out that Bud Light to me, it's like if you just add more water to a Bud, then you get 4% instead of 5. It tastes like diluted beer. So when I was smoking bud from those dispensaries, sometimes this tastes like that. Like there's a faint taste of it could be better. But there's that predominant taste. That shit is disgusting. It's lots of taste. It's like what make it good? It's not there, and it's still called the same produce. So I don't know. I would prefer a craft dinner than smoking some of those things. It will give me a better buzz. Strangely enough, a craft dinner gave me a nice effect after eating a big bowl of it. My brain still feels satisfied. So I think for the price, you better buy a big box of craft dinner and enjoy your crappy meal than buying some crappy bud. But that's my own choice. I think that there's some good produce to be offered on the market, but a lot of them we don't know. We cannot promote them. I can even go on the website and talk too much about it because I may be warned again. So, I think there's better work to be done by some people that are paid by tax to choose what have to be put on the shelf, and there's a understanding that hashish is a extraction of the trichome that is present on the plant. So it's supposed to be stronger, not supposed to be the same THC level, and you're not supposed to make a mix to make it look like. Because you're now making a produce that look like. So that's a bit like when you talk of that false marriage or false cheese. Um, dude, cheese it's made from milk, and they say, yeah, but it's vegetable milk. It's not milk. I've never milked a freaking soy plant. I've never milked. I don't know, dude. Have you milked a plant? Can there's some the
I
plant
have
that
never milked a plant. No.
what's the plant that the butterfly feed on? It got some latex when you break a leaf, and
Oh,
Asclepiad.
yeah,
That's the name in French, at least. Asclepiad.
sure.
So it got some latex in it.
Yeah, like you mean the rubber plant? Like, yeah.
Yeah, right. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know, though. I'm confused. I'm really confused. But it, I just really think that people should have an understanding of what they're doing. First, when they say, okay, we fear that people may with strong because their concept is that if it gets higher THC, it can be associated with worse consequence of on the mental health or whatever else. Okay, and for the most part, people that smoke too much extract or having too much edible will realize by themselves, or if not, their surrounding will tell them they are not mentally as good after a long usage of abuse. But sometimes you may be better on that than being addicted on morphine. And for my own experience, it worked a lot better, and I'm feeling a lot better with that than some of the pills on long term. So I think there's a lot more study to be done and less of that stupidity of recreational sale. Because when you offer to everyone on the recreational side and promote the fact that you can buy that legally now, it's like if you're making the Tylenol recreational tomorrow. Because when
Yeah.
we talk it tomorrow together, we've realized that your wife take a Tylenol to sleep with you sometime, and you take a Tylenol after you had a couple drink that night. So it's recreational. The day after you take it a Tylenol, yeah, right? You were making party before. It's recreational. So I think we will legalize the Tylenol and have a shop with only we only sell Tylenol produce, and you cannot get the 500 milligram Tylenol because some people with medical needs were using it efficiently. So they can go somewhere else, right? They have to pay for the right to be healed. But if you want to get the 50 milligram, we'll sell you, right? And we change the name.
Right.
That's pretty much what they did. I think that there's like a hypocrisy about like they want to have their own world, their own concept, their own language, their own rules. They they just want a bigger cut on their page that will be funny. They want to say everyone that was the worst criminal that were doing it, and now we know how to manage a business, and that's why there's so much consolidation in those things to make a conglomerate and being like alcohol that 200,000 brand is 10 brand. And those 10 brand are maybe five at the end. So, I mean, if you want to get like the grocery store, how many chain of grocery store you get in your province?
How many chains?
I guess
Like
there's three.
there's probably three. Yeah, there's probably three chains.
Most probably two of those three are the same here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you talk about competition in food or alcohol or what else, man? What's the most consumed produce you have, man? It's like just few companies that own all those different things. And if you're a small guy that want to do something, I can say a bit from what I've worked with. Um, it's if you want to make some transformed food from your farm, there is some regulation that you need to produce in a certain place and all that, and having insurance for a commercial, it's more expensive. And if you really want to be super efficient, you will have to get different ingredients, different machinery, and those machinery will maybe not handle the same ingredient you had because, really traditional bread with good flour, it's more sticky in the machinery. I had friends
Yeah.
working in those plants, in those places, and they were telling me how they were hating to produce the batch of those good bread. They were saying, "Yeah, that's the best to eat. Yeah, I guess, but I hate to wash that shit. So I've stuff to eat that good bread." I was laughing my ass. I was like, "Yeah, yeah. At least I can just buy it." So that's the same thing for pretty much any produce I had. It's not because it's harder to produce that it's the best, but it will need to get a bigger price. If you want to get those flower, is it the sour diesel that's super hard to trim that some people were saying? But if you have something that you like to smoke as a flower and hard to trim, you're gonna have to pay more. And for that, if you limit people for like THC versus price, you're going at the wrong place. It doesn't work like that. If you're buying some, uh, oh, what's that? I know that Don Perignon have said something against some rapper. I cannot recall the name. I'm sorry, guys, for those that may know about it. But there is a rapper that when you've heard about what Don Perignon was saying about the rappers, that they were saying, yeah, it's not like our favorite customer base, and we cannot deal with it. Well, that guy have made his own place. He've made a deal with people in France, in the region of Champagne, with a smaller house of champagne, that they were producing there that did not have like that big branding stuff, but they had really decent quality produce. And he, when he tasted that, he was like, "No, they were able to make something as good, if not better." And their produce doesn't worth the price. It have the reputation to get a bigger price. And we hype up something like dumbass. We pay that because it got that prestige with it. But guys, there's people in USA that don't understand it. The prestige towards some produce that friends sell get a long history about it, and it got different form in the history. One of them was it. There is one of the president that was promoting the red wine. I don't remember his name. Anyway, but there's also France that have provided some, let's say, land and some support to USA when they become independent. So there is also that. So there's a historical link to it that we can understand and why it make it more fancy for some American to make reference to some luxurious produce from France. But dude, you have to get a good quality at least, even you know. So that rapper that did that move, dude, I salute that shit 100% because he's able to promote a smaller firm, get a good produce on the shelf, and don't have those fucking pompous, stupid dumbass from Don Perignon that we're not our ideal client base. I mean, what you talking about? Those guys have
Mhm.
money. They know how to have success and continue to have success and buy a bottle and expose it in all those videos. And that's the respect you have toward it. I'm sorry, dude. I would change of brand too right away. Um, I'd have to get some, if I'm seeing anyone promoting anything I got and they say, dude, that's the shit, man. That's the thing I like. That for me, whatever it represent a good product. I will support you 100%. Come on, it's just that you're the people that buy your produce and enjoy it. You have to respect them. I think it's have something to, and you have to listen to what it, it is for them. If you tell me your produce is apple pie, what you doing with your apple pie? Are you putting ice cream on it? Oh, if you tell me you're having ice cream on it, you're no longer my friend. Dude, you're gonna have most of the people that eat apple pie that will stop buying apple pie from you. That's the part I think that's the flu. So I think there's that. With the cannabis, I found it quite funny when Snoop Dogg came here at one point. He's been accused to promote or, with the law that are a bit stupid. And I found it quite sad because I would like to have a guy like him to say, I think that thing or that thing on the shelf. It's really good. It's not my produce. I like that one or that one, and my produce is that one. What you and what the other like guys are that are supposed to promote it. Think about it, like a famous smoker from a big company that will tell me like, dude, I enjoy my produce. That's why when we promote that one, but I like that other produce for that other company. Because you know what I've asked it to James Loud, what's the guy from Canada that you've been impressed with what you've got? He said Gaston. So I've subscribed to
Gasto, yeah.
Instagram and tried to read a bit about that guy. Because I think James Lott is not like uh, I don't know how to say. I respect the guy. Okay, I think we may have different view, but what make me more interested to know what you have to say. It's a guy completely kind of different that I could be in that domain. So, yeah, okay, what that kind of guy think about that? Yeah, and when I'm looking at the stuff that girls don't have, like, oh yeah, okay, it's more in the vibe of what James Loud offer also. So for him, that more on his side. But if James Loud will smoke well, I like to smoke. He may enjoy some of them. But that's completely opposite than those gelato something. I don't know what those guys have, but I have heard the gelato and their stuff. And I just remember that I smoked a gelato at the dispensary. Um, Tastes good. It's strong. the my appreciation of stopped there. I don't like it. It's not bad, just nothing in that make me oh wow. I don't know. I found it quite expensive for how I've enjoyed it, but that was worth on the fact that was a good tasting, well grown kind of thing. Uh, Not more. Have you smoked gelato?
Have I smoked a gelato? No, I've never had a gelato. Not a real gelato. No.
I don't know if that's the real what we had here, but that was in the shop. It was
Yeah.
called gelato something, if I remember, by San Rafael. Um, I remember the brand was San Rafael.
I've done
Uh,
a bunch of Skittles crosses, but no, never.
Skittle. That's one that I found the bud looked nice. Is it how
But
it is?
the bud didn't look. The bud wasn't great, but the terps and the weed was pretty decent. But
That is it that one that's super kind of grapefruit fruity? Uh,
I could see you finding that in there. Mine weren't like that. Mine were just very berry and candy. Very like they were like kind of like more like Tang or like so that like
yeah,
um
okay. That kind of okay, that kind of fruity and tangy at the
yeah
same time.
yeah like so it's kind of sweet,
Floral.
tarty smelling. Yeah, it
Hmm.
was good. It was good. It was good weed, but nothing spectacular.
I don't remember trying that one because when I tried to choose with some of my friends that go there, I just hand them some money and say, "Oh, what you gonna choose? Oh, okay, that one I'll take some with you." That's pretty much what I did, pretty
Yeah,
much most of the time, because I don't want to get some too much of something I don't like. And the last time my friend wanted to get half an ounce, and we've ended up getting some cheap one, and that's the one I've made some hash because it was just I've kind of regret to put my money on it. And that's why I'm saying for the same price, there's some alcohol that worth a lot better. But I've decided to put lower my consumption of alcohol. So I won't go buy alcohol all the time. I would like to get some cannabis because I don't consume alcohol for
yeah,
pain relief or whatever. It doesn't work on long term. It's really bad to try to kill your pain with alcohol, dude. I tried for a while, and
fair enough.
I had to stop alcohol because it doesn't work on long term. You're just getting drunk and alcoholic and hangover. It doesn't work, dude. But it helps you to sleep few weeks in a row, and then it doesn't. It stop working, and you think that you need it. So no.
Yeah,
But yeah, cannabis, it's easy to not take some when you use it for medical reason. I mean, you may feel annoyed for a couple of weeks if you're used to it, but it's not as bad than a lot of other things that you could have at the hospital. I don't know, man. I just found that some of those new way to describe weed confuse me a tiny bit. So let's choose one that is quite weird. People that call it Zaza,
yes,
you know what Zaza mean?
no. Does that mean?
Well, if I say Zizi, that's a wiener. Okay, when you're a kid in French, you say my Zizi, mon Zizi, whatever. That's like you don't want to say that part of your body if you're a small boy. Okay, that's your wiener. So if you call it Zaza and make the gesture of smoking a joint, some French people may look at you and be, I'm sorry, you're not my kind. I like women. If you say Pepito and you say, make that gesture, if you're in Spain or in Mexico, some place will say that guy is weird. He's talking about his wiener and make a gesture with it toward his mouth. I'm not sure with that guy. But the other country, they will say, "Oh yeah, you want to smoke a joint?" a pino, a pinto.
Nice.
So yeah, but just be careful how you say those things, because it may sound like something you really don't want to talk about
Check
right
local
now.
laws.
So okay, so when I was talking with some people from France, sometimes they were saying "Eh ben tazeb," and I knew they were talking a bit like Verla. Verla, it's a way to reverse some vowel. Uh, let's say if you say bonjour, it will be jour bon. You're just inverting some part of the world and word, and Verlan, it mean à l'envers, so it's like backward. So it's a way to, it's kind of a small dialect of French that we're having. And zeb, that's just a way to say that herb. They talk about that's a good herb. So that's a good zeb. And a zebra, that's like a fucking racing horse or whatever from the savannah. So if you're making a reference to zeb, like a zebra or whatever, dude, you're gonna be able to be chased from a lion and still survive, dude. You stay in the pack, smoke that shit. I don't know, it sounds good to me. But if you're talking about Zaza, um, I don't know. There's a singer
Well,
in France
I
called Zaz. I think that you don't talk about Zaz. Uh, it's kind of just getting weird. So I don't know. Each generation get their stuff, but I was finding it quite funny when one of my uncle was saying that for him marijuana was an evil term, and he was calling it marijuana or herb or whatever else, because he was saying marijuana is the worst propaganda name, whatever. I was looking a bit into it and being like, why don't you guys call it cannabis? The plant called cannabis. Okay, it's not marijuana. Marijuana, it's appellation. It should never be in any text of the law unless we talk about propaganda, because it should be really clear for the government that yes, there have been some hypocrisy, and yes, Trudeau dad has get a report after Nixon, and they had similar conclusion, and they hide the conclusion of those reports. Nolan in 2004, and that's in the 70s that they made those reports, Nixon and Trudeau dad. And 2004, Nolan had a report that had pushed uh, just later on when Harper came in power, that have pushed the government to change the law to allow medical to be legal and accessible, to have some permit and law about it. But when the liberal came back in power, they were like, yeah, okay, they had to get some reform in those laws because there was some stupid part with it. We won't go in detail. But they said, oh, yeah, but it's perfect idea to legalize, put more law, and have our buddies from the big corporation clan to have some share of those company that we could invest in and get a bigger share, get some share from the government on every stage of the production and the sale. Oh, wow. They were coming in our pants. They were having a green rush. And what they've not understood is cannabis was present before. They would have to they should have studied more how it was made and how it was working and how some people were controlling the supply and the quality. There was two reasons why some people were not having quality. First, they had lack of knowledge, and people that had the
lack of
good
knowledge is a
variety
big
were
one.
not necessarily sharing it with everyone because they were having their small pocket of people that was happy with it. Everyone was happy with it. But when someone was busted, maybe that thing was just gone. Sometimes was shared or whatever. Different things. But one thing they've not understood is some of those best shit were not necessarily known.
Yep,
I think it should just be more easy to get new variety introduced like that, and that there's a I don't know if you've heard of that, but I was thinking it coming. There will be some marker. Okay, it's not sure for now. Okay, but they have the ability to do it with the technology right now, and they can put it in the law. You could have every plant that can put in production that would have a special marker in it. If you cannot identify that marker, your plant is from illegal sources.
that's crazy.
Okay? And you can identify that even when the produce is dry or extracted, because that marker is most probably there. I don't want to say bullshit, but it's most probably there. And there's a way to identify it. So if we go that route, it means that you lock with certain stuff that is on the market and what they will want to put back there, and that's it. So there is different concern toward it, but the main one is what the fuck. To me, it's what the fuck, dude. I don't know what you think about all those fucking regulations that they put. They want to tell you which strain you will be able to grow. That's
Yep.
not even the traditional strain that was adapted to your region. I don't get it.
Yeah, yeah, and just won't work.
Oh,
It just
maybe,
won't work.
maybe, but you don't know.
Yeah, it might. It might. There's like a 5 to 10% chance.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
what we're you use it to say like, oh yeah, you think you can have 10 strain to grow? Yeah, they grow 10 pack of those 10 strain, each of them, and at the end of the season, you may have two of or three in each of the strain that you may have good harvest from them and want to grow next year. But most probably, most of those strain are crap, and most of those plants in those strain are not worth to be reproduced. So if they ask that you rebuy the same set of seeds instead of selecting from what work already this year, and you cannot produce more seeds. Not anything. I don't know. There's a couple of things like if I'm buying beans at the store, I can plant them, or boil them. I can eat them or regrow them, and they
Yep.
work. And that's how, to me, veggies are supposed to. Every food on my table is supposed to. If it bears seeds in the fruit in the plant, I should be able to grow them most of the time, at least. Um, when I was younger, we do had seeds in it half the time. And
Yeah, it's
yeah,
true.
we had a hash also. But half the time it was legit a couple of seeds in it, not necessarily fully seeded. But what was really usual for outdoor stuff was to have a couple of seeds in the middle of the bud, because the guy go sex his plant and there's a couple pollen sac that made few seeds in it, just enough, or maybe the guy have pollinated one branch on this plant and have a couple of seeds just beside. I don't know. We had always like good seeds of that kind of thing. But when I've heard about all the people, oh, I got seeds in my arm, like that's an arm plant, and you got a couple of seeds. That there's a way to see if it's from an arm or not. I've never seen a regular pollination at the outside of a compact bud on the tip. It's normally like in the inside, in middle of the bud or base, the first few calyx.
Right now. Well, I'm getting pretty tired, buddy. We came on
Yeah,
for a
right.
bit. So why don't we shut it down there?
All right, all right.
Um, yeah. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Um,
Yeah, we'll go Friday for the candle contest. If everyone want to post on B_creeper, put your on Instagram, put your
nice.
favorite munchies or dessert with honey on the post, or on Green Goddess 420. She got the post also about it. If you post your favorite recipe, we're gonna give away a couple candle and a few things like that. So we need more participation. So if some people want to get some candle
Nice.
and some bee stuff. So